Greetings, people. It's Mr. PDT and Dr. Brew, yet again on another episode of the Enlightenment series. Dr. Brew, how have you been?
I've been good. I have been busy, but yeah, there are bigger things now. This is big things, so we had to come and sort of give proper analysis to this. This is a breaking news. This is big news. This.
Many people will not understand. I was talking to you just now and I was questioning, how do these people do these things? And you told me that the problem with me is I still look at them as normal people. These people are
That's
abnormal.
that's the challenge. The challenge is you are looking at it from a perspective of thinking these people cannot. It's impossible for someone to do this. It's impossible for normal people to go to the extent that these people do. The reason why these people are not in the same category with normal is because they have gone beyond the beyond. So I see what you're saying. You have a slight issue with cognitive dissonance, but the followers of Chris Oyakhilome, for example, would have a massive bout of cognitive dissonance. This is a situation that happens when someone that you hold to high esteem then comes up with something that is unusual, something that you cannot reconcile. You cannot make sense of why would a man of God, because you've qualified him as a man of God. A lot of his followers have qualified him as a man of God. So to hear that that same man of God has done something ungodly, they fail to balance that. That's where this cognitive dissonance comes in. So it's the failure of your brain to reconcile and make sense of such a thing. So uh, some people are still struggling to understand that a man like Chris can divorce, because there's the same people that say God does not like divorce are thinking, so how did our men of God divorce? Now, divorce is normal in many cases, but what then goes beyond the beyond is when that same man is said to have a relationship with another man, or worse still, is said to have fathered a child with his own sister. That's incestual. It becomes a complete conundrum, an equation that the brain cannot even solve or balance. So this is why I say it goes beyond the beyond. Now it's very difficult to reconcile this and make sense of this kind of thing. But that's the problem, because we are trying to look at this person as if he's normal. He's not normal. Once you understand that he's not normal, what he has done is not normal, but it is possible that these things can be done. Then we
Before
are
we get into the discussion, before we even get into the discussion, the one that involves Chris Oyakhilome, Kathy Oyakhilome, and the abomination child, Daysman Oyakhilome. What's your take on Chris Oyakhilome as a man of God? Just in brief, if
so
you were to be asked, who is Chris Oyakhilome and what does he stand for? On a scale of 1 to 10, and
uh,
10 being a man of God, where would you place him?
so I thought you were saying, I thought your question was, what's your take on Chris Oyakhilome as a man of God, meaning me being the man of God? Because I have not, I don't put him in the rating or ranking of men of God. You see, when Scripture tells us that false Christ shall arise, false teachers shall arise, that guy, when it comes to expounding or even reading Scripture, he sometimes can do it in such a way that those listening would think that this is Deputy Jesus speaking himself. But that's the beauty of charlatanism, because they it's not that charlatans don't know Scripture. They do know Scripture, and they know it well, similar to what the devil would say. The devil quoted Scripture to Jesus himself, but it is not the quoting of Scripture. It is by their works. Scripture tells us that by their works ye shall know. So if these are the fruits of this so-called men of God, if the fruits are Daysman, if the fruits are the other Tomita, and if the fruits are a divorce, then we are seeing that this is not a man of God. So on a scale of 1 to 10, to answer your question, on a scale of 1 to 10, he's not in that scale for me. He's probably sitting at a comfortable -3.
-3.
Yes.
How do you justify his divorce? What's your take on his divorce?
I've covered that extensively on other platforms. The issue to do with his divorce. We spoke about it even on this platform. The divorce was granted in a UK court in London, and they'd gone to all lengths to try and block this from even taking place in Nigeria. The claims that are put in that divorce request, the writ that Anita put forward for reason to grant the divorce, there are 4 major ones that are listed in there. It could have been easy if it was just infidelity and would say, okay, or irreconcilable differences, which is what a lot of people say, irreconcilable differences, but they don't go and specify what those irreconcilable differences are. But in this case, it was listed. And some of the things are unreasonable relationships, unreasonable behavior.
In adultery.
So now, in adultery. So there's adultery, and then there's unreasonable relationships. So so that when you start listing and categorizing these things, it means it could have stopped at adultery. Then would have thought, well, he had an affair with some other woman. But it goes to specify it differently when it says unreasonable relationships. So when you go into that kind of realm now, it could be anything from he is having a relationship with a sister, he is having a relationship with another man. Because how does it become unreasonable if it is just what do you call it? If it is just infidelity, it's infidelity. It would simply mean he had an affair with another woman. But when you go and now specify it, that means something else. So word to the wise, those that can read, go and read what this judgment says, and you'll start to realize that this man, the fact that he just puts on a white suit and you see a white suit, it doesn't imply purity to have a white suit, because perm your hair, we put on a white suit and then just go about and start talking and have Benny Hinn come and endorse you as a man of God. Benny Hinn himself is in the same category. So it's a game of endorsement. These are men endorsing each other. Nothing to do with the Spirit of God.
Okay, Dr. Brilliant, before we go any further, before we get into the discussion, let me just confirm if the people we are talking to can actually hear us and see us. We don't want to run 1 hour marathon only to realize that we're talking to ourselves.
It's important because there are some people on altars right now trying to make this not happen.
My people, let me know if you can hear us, and let me know if you can see us properly. And do let me know where you're watching us from before we proceed without caution. Loud and clear, David Denzel Makombe, I see you. We can hear you clearly. Kachiku, I see you. Yes, we can hear you. Efosa, I see you. We can hear you, bros. From Martian Trend, I see you. Loud and clear. From Zimbabwe, Lindokutle, I see you. We are hearing you. We can hear and see you. Vian is proper. We can hear you from Tunde. I see you. With love, Windek in Namibia. Windek is in Namibia, right?
Windhoek, yeah.
We can hear you loud and clear. Cowton View, Rural Farming Africa, we see you. We can hear you say. Where are you watching from? Where are you people watching from? It's very important that I know the demographics. of the audience that we are sharing with. This is the good news that we are sharing here, not the nonsense that you guys have been consuming in these shrines that you call churches. Ugonene, watching you from London, I see you. Oru, we can hear you say loud and clear from Asok Bai. I see you. In Cape Town, we can see you. Majawa, I see you too. Botswana is in the house. Mary Joyce, I see you. Eric from Abuja, I see you, Mr. Eric. Donald Mwape, clear and loud. Raymond, loud and clear from Johannesburg. Jackie, I see you. Collins, crystal clear from Bots. Yes, I can hear you watching from UK. That's Foster. From Germany, Raimundo, I see you. Romeo, loud and clear. Mzanzi, God's blessings upon you. I see you as well. Very audible. From Nairobi, Emmy, I see you. From Cameroon, I see you. Vienne, greetings to everybody. Loud and clear from the United States of Nigeria. Onyema, I see you. Good evening from UK. Mr. Mota or Miss Mota. Watching you from Lagos. Does Ponko have a page? Yes, he does. I've been telling him to open like a professional business page, but he has been enjoying sanitizing some of his, charlatanistic people that he knows very much well. We are going to be hosting some of the programs that he hosts as well on his page. And he has so many books that I would wish you people go and read. Doctor, you did not send me the links. I wish if I could have attached them on this broadcast so that people can go and check your ebooks. You know, Mr. Pongo is a writer. He has a very huge catalog of books that you should be consuming, not the nonsense that you have been reading from these your spiritual fathers who use ghost writers to write to you about spiritual things that they have no understanding of. Dr. Brilliant is well versed and very knowledgeable about scripture more than your spiritual fathers. So I would advise you to go check out Dr. Pongo's page. It's Brilliant Pongo. Just go and search on Facebook. It's Brilliant Pongo. You can see some of the links to his books that he has authored. I'm sure we'll do a program here and put all of them together so that each and everyone can choose the right one that best suits them. Yes, my people, I see you. We have Leka here from United Kingdom. Watching you from Nigeria. You know, it's good that we have so many people from almost all over. Boo now from Germany. I see you. Watching you from USA, Prince Gulf. Greetings, my people. I appreciate you. Thank you for joining in. Now let's continue to the analysis that we have gathered here for. The analysis that we want to do. I'll open the lines, and anyone who wants to add on to this discussion, you'll be free to do so. But I want to first pick Dr. Brilliant's brain, Dr. Brilliant's mind, with regard to this, previous discussion that we have been having concerning Chris Oyakhilome, Kathy Oyakhilome, and this boy called Daysman Oyakhilome, who refused to use the last name of his alleged father, Wogren. It's called Wogren, Dr. Ken Wogren. He is the alleged father, who happens to be the husband of Chris Oyakhilome's sister, Kathy. But the boy does not use the last name of his alleged father. He uses the last name of Oyakhilome. That's another point that you should take note of. It's a red flag that should highlight or direct you towards what could be hidden. Because all the things that these people do, it's hide and seek. They're always and forever hiding something. So if you do not have that third eye to look for what's not being presented to you, to look for what they are hiding, to look at what they are not showing you, you will forever be in darkness. Dr. Brilliant, I was talking recently about this trial, and I'm sure you're well versed with them. These four, we have Oyakhilome on my extreme left, we have Daysman on the near to the left, and then we have Kathy, who's in the middle, and to my extreme right, we have Anita. The conspiracy comes here from the suspicion that this one and that one, they might be biologically related. The one on the left, depending on which one is your left, looks exactly like the one on the right, depending on which one is your right. This striking resemblance has caused some of us to assume and allege that Chris might be the biological father of this young boy called Daysman Oyakhilome. If you can look at these two, you can easily tell that Daysman is a carbon copy of Chris Oyakhilome, but the majority of people are saying this is not enough justification to claim paternity. And people can look like whoever, uncles can look like their nephews, their nieces. But recently I did an interview with a young
Show
lady.
that picture. Show that picture one more time.
Which one? This one?
Yeah. Right. So I see what they want.
Yes.
Right. I see what they want. We can say based on the image, this, that, and the other, but remove the image. Let's speak on facts that are now coming up on the ground. Assuming, as anyone would, that this is Chris's nephew. It's his nephew because it is a child born of his sister. Then there's a story that he's adopted this Daysman. Why would he adopt his sister's son? For what purpose and what reason? Right? And why is he adopting him now? If this boy is a nephew and he has his own biological father who is in existence at the moment, what would have been the father's feeling to just think that a son, his own son, is not going to carry his name now, is going to go and be someone else's son? In fact, his uncle now adopts him. For what purpose, really? What is the reason why Chris would adopt Daysman? You see, these are questions that people would normally not ask because they assume Chris is a good man, a man of God, so he is well within his rights to. And why is he adopting a big man like Daysman now? Then we look into the Daysman himself. The character is a bit dodgy. He is someone that, to a lot of people, has no discernible talent, but has a name, is living under the shadow of his uncle or father. Right? They give him, they shower him with all these awards. They've given him so many awards from Love World that make him is this, is that, is that. They've given him all sorts of awards. Why are they trying to prop this boy up? And the most damaging thing would be testimonies that come from the women that he, Daysman, has abused. And the lifestyle that is been living is not consistent with that of a Christian. And he is under the shadow and under the watchful eye of this man that has now said he's adopting him as a son. So Daysman is being adopted by Chris Oyakhilome. He's going to be Chris Oyakhilome, or is now Chris Oyakhilome's son by adoption. And his mother is Chris Oyakhilome's sister. All this thing is something that is missing. The behavior, the unreasonable behavior that this young man is exhibiting is that of someone that has just discovered something drastic, something that has just come to his attention, that his uncle is his biological father. His mother, biological, is also his aunt because his father and his mother are brother and sister. So this whole confusion that this boy is exhibiting, this whole acting out, that one day they kick him out of the church, they bring him back, they do this, they do that. Why is Chris going through all this for a son that is not his biological one? Why is he going through all this? Is this the only nephew that he has? Chris has not got one sister. Chris has got 3 sisters. So why is this one given this special attention and treated in this way? This one, from my sources and from what I've heard, is a covenant that was between Chris Oyakhilome and his sister. And I know this is a big thing that I'm saying right now. And I say it with confidence because I trust my source. And if they want to take legal action, they must. I challenge them.
Can you rewind? You said this was a covenant between Chris Oyakhilome and Kathy, the sister. What kind of a covenant?
The detail of what it is that they've agreed, I am not privy to that. But I know that it is something that is a ritual that had to be done. So hence, this boy is now the heir apparent to this business empire called Love World. It is nothing to do with God. One day, the people that are following Chris will find the truth that this is a family-run business. This is why the sister is a gatekeeper there. This is why the most important people in this organization are blood-related. So the calling of God, you see, this is the thing with modern Christianity. The calling of God is not sexually transmitted. You see, if you ever noticed that any other profession or any other thing that people do, if, for example, someone is married to a doctor, a woman is married to a doctor, the woman does not become doctoress. If a woman is married to a musician and she's not a musician, she doesn't become a musicianess. But just go to church. One person just comes in and says they are called to be a pastor. Automatically, the wife becomes a pastor too. If they're a prophet, automatically the wife becomes a prophetess too. So if this man goes and divorces and does this, does that mean that if a prophet divorces a wife that is also, you're saying she's a prophetess, she hears from God, does that automatically mean that the ability to hear God is switched off by divorce and is switched on by marriage? So how do we explain this? Because, and what scripture references do we have that someone that is a pastor as a man, when they marry, the wife automatically becomes a prophetess too?
Doctor, I think I should give people a little bit of background. I did an interview with one young lady who was forcefully put under Daysman's watch, who was made a wife by Daysman against her will. And this young lady confessed in the testimony that Daysman told her that at one point he realized Chris Oyakhilome was his biological father. My main interest is, according to her, the reason why the plan of Daysman was brought into play was because Anita couldn't conceive anymore. Anita couldn't give Chris more babies. According to Daysman, this was Daysman's words. That's why Chris had to make a plan to have another child. So this plan to have another child, was it through surrogacy, or was it through him actually sleeping and engaging with maybe a random lady or another woman that he was in an affair with? And one thing I want to keep reminding people is, when Anita left, she cited in the court papers that the main reason she is leaving is because of Chris Oyakhilome's adulterous behavior and unreasonable relationships and unreasonable behavior. Was this boy born out of Chris Oyakhilome's adulterous behavior? Could it be that Kathy is not even the mother of Daysman? Could it be that Daysman Daysman's mother was actually paid handsomely by Chris Oyakhilome, as she was Chris Oyakhilome's girlfriend. And as soon as she gave birth, Chris took his child, gave his child to his sister, raise this boy for me, but pretend as if it's your own child.
That's a beautiful conspiracy. But we must stick to what has been said and what we have evidence to, as in verbal evidence. Mm-hmm. So I've never played devil's advocate, but I am going to play devil's advocate here. Because if you look at Daysman, what is his age? If you look at Chris's other two daughters, what are their ages? So the conspiracy.
Daysman, 28. Daysman was born in 96.
Yes, and
the other girl of Chris Oyakhilome, the first daughter was born in 93, the second daughter in 95, right, and Daysman in 96.
So if you look at that, we cannot say Anita could not give Chris children. So that conspiracy, beautiful as it is, collapses right there, as in saying Anita could not bear Chris children. No, she had two daughters. Anita had two daughters with Chris. So we know she was fertile. She could give Chris children. The issue here is not about Anita being unable to give Chris children. The issue might be there were two girls. Maybe a boy was needed. But is this boy younger than both the two girls?
No, she's old. He's older.
You see now. So that means there is a time, even after this boy was in existence, that Chris got another child from Anita. But where did Daysman come from? Who is Daysman's mother and why? That is what the question should be.
Okay, let me chip in there. Could it be that the reason why Anita refused to give Chris another child was because she had found out that there's another woman who's pregnant of Chris?
No.
Look at the time frame. Wait, look at the time frame. The second daughter to Anita was in 95. And Daysman was 96. When Anita was giving birth to the second daughter, this other one of Chris, the other girlfriend of Chris, was also pregnant. And Anita could have discovered it in that time frame. As she's giving birth, another woman is pregnant of her husband. And she says, I'll never give you another child again. You promiscuous, white-suited, permed men. Never. Impossible.
Again, beautiful as the conspiracy might be, it falls flat on its face. For me, it falls flat on its face. Because if
why? Where does it fall flat?
The issue here is not about Anita.
Anita is the queen of this game, of this chess game.
Yes, but the issue here is not about Anita. The issue here is Daysman just turned out to be a boy, yes. But it is in understanding that there are certain things that were done that required a brother and a sister to engage and produce an heir. This was already forewritten and it was forgone that it was going to be a boy. They knew because this is a covenant child. So this is deeper than what a lot of people would want to understand or even contemplate trying to even get an understanding of. So the issue here is the chickens are coming home to roost. All of a sudden, Daysman knows that is a product of an incestual relationship. Hence, is acting out and doing all sorts of things. People will ask, but why can't he be controlled? He knows more now than he should know. Meaning, The mother cannot control him because he can simply say, you have no moral authority to be telling me that you slept with your brother. The brother cannot control him because he can stand and say, you have no moral authority to tell me that you told me you were my uncle, but you are actually my father. You slept with your sister, who happens to be my mother. So the confusion that this boy has. So you see how they try to even make him someone by giving him pointless and aimless and empty awards. Is to just try and build him up because they know they have to sort of try and present this guy as if he's a somebody. He is not anybody to the world. He is everything to them because of the covenant that they have, the agreement that they have. He's a product of an incestual relationship. Hence, it's acting out. And they cannot control him. They cannot control him because he can tell them who they are. And he can expose a lot more to the world. So they allow him. They give him the liberty to live whichever way he wants. He can have 7 women in the house, sleep with all of them on the same bed. They will not say anything to that. This is what they created. And so here we are.
So this boy is a covenant boy, and him being alive is serving a purpose.
A very big purpose. This is what is probably holding, is the cement that holds together this empire that they call Love World.
Love World. Wait, you're onto something now. Love World.
Love World, yeah.
Could the entire concept of Love World be coming from this whole love entanglement between
People are not ready for this. Let's take it one step at a time. Let's open the lines. Let's open the lines because whoa.
Love World. I can feel the love now. Because so are you are holding on to the conspiracy that this boy is a covenant child?
Yes, I am.
So how do you justify Anita not giving Chris any more children since 1995?
The deal was done. If Anita had given Chris a boy, it would have caused problems.
What kind of problems? There was a boy that was already arranged, pre-arranged.
The boy is already there, right? Daysman is there now in 1996.
A year later.
A year later. So if Anita was to say, let's have if they were to go for another child, and they the third, and the 2 girls and a boy, then we have a contestation there that Anita is saying, my child is the heir to this kind of thing. So that had to be stopped.
So it could not be Love World. It's probably Love Child. I'm reading a comment here. Do you know satanic symbols? They are all over the money that we use. They are just symbols and some wordings that we cannot decipher.
The thing is, when you look at these things, right? These things are not hidden somewhere deep under the water or some. No, these things are in plain sight. They are right before you. When you see a man going out with another man and they start putting on matching outfits and they start coordinating everything that they do, even the line on the everything. And someone says, maybe these people are in a gay relationship, and you say, no, it can't be because they are men of God. It's hidden right in front of you. It's in your face. You see it every day. But people will still deny it. Cognitive dissonance, what I was talking about earlier. Cognitive dissonance.
Before I open the calling lines, before I hear what people think, my people, I want to pick your brain now. I'll put the WhatsApp calling line. This number is strictly for WhatsApp. Just call me via WhatsApp. Don't direct call. Call via WhatsApp. I want to hear what's your thoughts. What's your take on this saga involving Daysman? Dr. Brewier is saying Daysman is a covenant child. It was an agreement between Kathy and Chris himself. Hence, they came up with the concept of love world, but what they actually meant was love child. If you are to look deeper into the entire concept. And I have questions as well. Why did Anita not give Chris more children after the second born in 1995? Because Daysman was born a year later when Anita delivered the last girl. And after that, Anita called it quits. Until 2014, when she filed for divorce, there was no child. A conspiracy theory may come to say she was having complications, but I don't think she was having complications. And from my side, I was saying she could have discovered that Chris is having other relationships, or there's another woman claiming to be carrying Chris Oyakhilome's child. So she called it quits. And others were claiming that Chris could have gone to baby factories and donated his sperm for surrogacy. When the child was born, he took the child and gave it to his sister so that the sister can raise the boy. You, my people, you tell me what you think. I've put in the calling in line. Call in and share your thoughts. I would also like to hear your school of thought in as far as this whole story is concerned. Someone once said that 2024 is going to someone once said that 2024 is the year God will expose all the fake thieves people call men of God. These are not men of God. These people, the things that they do.
It's correct. It's correct in saying the people that we call men of God, the people that people call men of God. God does not call these men of God. This is what they've told us. They've told us they are men of God. They told us that, I mean, there's a video of Chris trying to justify, maybe when we come in the next program, I'll send it to you. There's a video of Chris justifying, this is after the divorce, and the questions were being asked about, his divorce and all that. And he tries to come in and settle that. And his response was that he is not just a preacher. He is a man handpicked by God. And he's a man of God. He's not a preacher, but a man of God. That God sets him on a course. Whatever it is that God says he should do, that's what he will do.
Yeah, I think Dr. Bree was interrupted there. He probably received a call that took him out. My people, don't just be commenting there. I know some of you have quite a lot of things to say. I'm tired of responding to some of your insults in the comment section. I'm giving you an opportunity to call in so that we can hear your reasoning as well, so that we can hear your 2 cents on the subject of Chris Oyakhilome and this forbidden kid called Daysman. This is what Daysman has been doing. The thing that this Daysman boy has been doing is more or less the same as what TB Joshua did, or what TB Joshua was doing to his disciples. This boy is even operating on a different level, on a entirely different level. If I could tell you the lives that this boy has damaged, or the lives that this boy has been damaging, you wouldn't believe it. You will be shocked. That's why it's important we know where this boy is coming from, where this boy came from. Did he fall from the sky?
These people are on their altars. I got cut out there. I don't know what happened.
You just got cut out.
But we are back. We're back. Whatever altars you're on, they're not working.
Even the other story you were just telling me right now, you see, I'm still struggling to believe it. The one that we were talking, off the camera. It just gets to make me understand that the people we are dealing with are not normal. They are beyond normal. They are little devils. Even though their spiritual sons and daughters see them as gods.
Allow yourself, right? Allow yourself to think outside the box or the frame in which these people have put you in. You see, we start the discussion on the premise that this is a man of God. The question you were asking me was, on a scale of 1 to 10, where do you rank Chris as a man of God? The question itself assumes that you already are saying he's part of the men of God, because that's the box in which they've put you in, to look at them and think that they are of God. What makes him a man of God? The fact that he has a church, he has a ministry. Anyone can have that. Those are shrines. So what are the fruits? If we go back to scripture, what are the fruits? If we go back to even the things that scripture says, and we try and balance that with him, we'll find that he'll be found wanting on many things. We're not saying anyone is perfect out there, but there are certain things that we should look at and think there's too much control, there's too much of lying. All these things that you say that God is telling you this. Let's just go back not so long ago, the coronavirus period. The stories and the things that guy called Chris Oyakhilome fabricated. And no one fact-checked anything that he said. If we go back now and even try and look at the 5G claim, we'll start to think that there are people in his church that are even engineers, that are even doctors, that are even lawyers. None of them thought to question that, no, the things that you are saying, it doesn't make sense. How is 5G going to be used to spread coronavirus? But because he spoke with authority, he spoke like a man that everyone is looking at as a man of God, that he's hearing from God. While God is telling him how all this corona is being spread by 5G, Chris, as a man that is speaking to God on a daily, never thought for 1 minute to say, God, today, before you tell me how coronavirus is being spread, do you have a solution for it so I can tell the people? He never thought. I wonder, these guys that say they speak to God, that a whole God from heaven, a whole God of heaven, the creator of everything, comes, sits at the edge of your bed and starts telling you about football results. And yet there are all these problems in the world, and you don't even think to say, God, while you are here, how do we solve this? How do we solve that? This is why I find it very difficult when I hear these charlatans saying, God came to me and spoke to me and said this, I saw God face to face. There are some that are even telling us today that they were drinking tea with God. And people cannot question, people just take it. Because the men have been venerated as men of God. We've been brainwashed to think that it is wrong for us to even question them. But yet the Bible itself tells us that no man can see God and live. But we forget all that. We forget what scripture says. And we say, well, if Papa Gio is saying that he saw God this morning, then that's right. And this God is always telling them about how to get money from people, how to predict soccer football results. We can't.
Oh, let me take just one call, doctor. Let me just take this one call. Hello, caller.
Yes, how are you?
I think you'll find that is your call is dropped you off. But anyway, I will continue talking until Prof X is back. So I was saying the majority of people now in these prophetic led churches have been brainwashed to a Right. Yeah, they are fighting the broadcast, but we will win. We will win. Let's wait, give it a few minutes, see if we can get Prof X back on. Yeah, so I was saying the men and women in some cases that are in these prophetic churches, that are leaders of these prophetic churches, these charlatans, as I call them, you know, they'll come and tell us all these stories of how they are meeting with God, they are communicating with God, and all that, all these nonsensical claims that they make. The issue, or what scares me the most, is that people generally do not question this. They take the words that are spoken by these men as biblical truths. That is where the problem is, because no one is questioning. No one is questioning that, okay, this man said, God spoke to me today. God spoke to me. How is God speaking to you? Is he speaking to you through a dream? Is he coming down? I woke up this morning and God was set by the side of my bed. Really? A whole God from heaven comes down, sits by the side in your bedroom, sits with you there while you are sleeping, tells you what? Tells you how to get money from the people, tells you that people should pay a seed for this or that.